Right now it is time for Main Street Magazine on Robin Hood Radio with Lauren Christian Dotter. Of course, you can find Main Street Magazine free pickup throughout the tri-state region, the magazine edition. And of course, they have their companion website, mainstreetmag.com on the web. Good morning, Thorin.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, and especially, we're living through a classic, actually March, even though it's February, winter, where today we'll get in the 60s and near 60. Tomorrow, maybe if the sun comes out long enough, it'll get up to 65 to 70. We'll have some light rain and fog tonight, and then by Thursday night into Friday, possibly a snowstorm.
Well, you never know what to expect, right?
It is typical. The old tagline is, if you don't like the weather in New England, wait around for a few minutes. It'll definitely change. So,
Right.
but we have so many wintertime things going on in our region this week. It really is amazing with the junior nationals and the Nordic combined at Mohawk and at Satry Hill. Winter weekend in Norfolk is also going on this weekend. And also coming back this year after a year's absence at the Congregational Church is the student recital with students from out our tri-state region. But one thing that we don't really talk about a lot with Main Street Magazine, and I really do enjoy it, and that is your feature Friendly Faces, Meet Our Neighbors, Visitors and Friends, where you pick 6 to 9 people every month to put up there?
6 people, and it's something that we've had since day one. It's just kind of like, when you're at the grocery store and you're about to check out and you kind of see all the gossip magazines and you always go, oh, I wonder who's in it. Well, this is kind of our who's in it from our area and our neighborhoods. And so we thought it was kind of a nice way to get to know people you may not know, but people you may see at the coffee shop or may see at the grocery store, and you recognize them, but you don't know who they are. So it's a little quick snippet of who they are and what they're about.
Now, is that something that you go over every month, or you just, or does it come about in conversation around the office?
Well, it's something that's in every month, and we have themes, a couple of times a year. So, for example, the March issue, which just went to press, we always, Ashley, I don't know how she came up with this, but years ago when we started with the animal farming issue, she convinced me to try it, and ever since then we've only had animals in the March issue as friendly faces, and except we call them friendly faces. So, but other than that, it's humans the other 11 months out of the year, and depending on the theme, we may cater one question to tie it into the theme, or for the food and drink, we've had folks who work in restaurants or in the food service or something like that. So it's, if people always, when we hear that, when we're delivering and we hear people talking about the magazine, they always say, oh, I wonder who's in it. And they reference that particularly and, always flip to that page.
What's nice about it really is a diverse run of people that can be sometimes famous people, sometimes semi-famous, just people who are famous because they're your good friends and neighbors. I mean, that's
Exactly.
it's a real nice collection, and you really do get to know. I think that if you're looking at it and you have seen somebody a couple of times or heard them, it's nice to find out a little bit about their background.
Exactly. And that's kind of how and why we did it. And likewise with like our business snapshots in the back, it's kind of a quick glimpse at, local businesses that you may not even know much about or, realize exactly what they do. So that was also the kind of the taking from the personal, profile little piece that also the business in the back. And sometimes, most of the time in the past, at least 9 years that we've been doing this, we kind of handpick or ask people to be in, but we also have a section on our website where you can submit to be a friendly face or a business snapshot or give advice. So we have that on our website if folks want to participate.
All right, and so now you just mentioned something that we deal with all the time here, and that is right now, even though it's February 22nd, actually starting about a week ago, we started already working on our March late March programming.
Yep.
And you just said you just put the March magazine to bed. What can we expect to see in the March magazine?
Well, it's as I mentioned, it's
Yep.
our animal and farming issue. So it's almost everything is related to that, except our artist feature is always just an artist feature. This sometimes ties into the theme, not or not. But other than that, just about everything is animal and farming related in our area. So we have a nice combination of things, and some really good stories. And it was a fun issue to put together, and it should be out, I think, next Monday.
And of course, around here, we are already speaking with various show providers, our volunteers, about spring theme, believe it or not, spring theme shows, especially Margaret Rocha with The Way to Garden, because, of course, people that love to get in the gardens love to talk about seeds and seedlings and things like that. So I think for people that listen to this show and that see the magazine and see the website, understand that it is a process that you're always a month or two ahead along with what you're coming out with in the current month.
Well, I have a couple of calendars. I have one for or books where I have written down. So one's for the printed magazine. We have a whiteboard, two whiteboards, calendars for the online. And then since we launched our podcast, Mary and I have another calendar for scheduling with our guests for our podcast. And
Right.
so it's let me see, the magazine, we're working on April now, but we're already planning May and June. The website changes every day, so that content is totally fluid. And for our podcast, we're interviewing guests right now into May and June, so it's we're staying busy.
And for people that aren't aware, let's talk about your podcast that you have
Sure,
and
sure.
and what who's on your podcast, and who's coming up.
The name of the podcast is Main Street Moxie, and what we're doing is talking with folks who we deem have Moxie. So they're sharing their stories of, however they define Moxie. So we've had, like yesterday, or I should back up, our episodes drop every other Monday. So yesterday we had our third episode, and it was the mayor of Hudson, Kamal Johnson, and he was sharing his story of growing up in Hudson, how he grew up, and then how he became mayor. And I have to tell you, it's such an impactful story, how he changed the narrative and perception of his family, how he became the youngest mayor in Hudson, the first black mayor, and the things that he's been doing. And so it's just, we in the magazine and online, we try to tell a good story, a positive story, and the podcast is just another way for us to do that, to share, inspirational stories. So it's been really fun, and it's been getting in the audio sector has been interesting, but it's been a lot of fun and inspirational for us to hear these amazing stories. And we have an interview today, and everyone just gets, every story is so different, but it's always so fun to hear how people made the decisions and how they moved in their lives, and what transpired, what motivated them, and how they, there are so many tidbits of information, of inspiration that, I feel that I'm getting out of every interview, and I hope our listeners do too.
All right, so Main Street Magazine, and of course, mainstreetmag.com on the web, free pickup throughout the area. And your March issue hits the newsstands on Monday, right?
I believe so. It'll take us a day or two to get them out everywhere, though. So give us a day or two.
All right, Thorin, we'll speak to you next week.
Fantastic.
Take care. Thorin Kristen Dowder, Main Street Magazine here on Robin Hood Radio. Once again, pick up at locations throughout the tri-state region, and also mainstreetmag.com on the web.